Welcome. I hope you're feeling happy. Get cozy as we begin our journey with the giant panda. High in the mountains of Sichuan, where the air smells like wet bamboo and morning fog, lives an animal that has turned eating into a full-time occupation with no benefits and terrible hours: the giant panda. A creature so committed to its diet that it spends 14 hours a day chewing the nutritional equivalent of cardboard, yet somehow maintains the appearance of someone who has never missed a meal. They are black and white, round in all the places that suggest comfort, and possessed of a facial expression that says, "Life is happening to me, and I have made peace with it." This is the story of one family, a small group that will spend the next year navigating the seasons in these misty forests. We will follow them through spring's awkward encounters, summer's long meals, autumn's quiet preparation, and winter's cold that makes everything harder. They are not heroes. They are not warriors. They are pandas, which means they are professional bamboo eaters who occasionally fall out of trees. Spring arrives in the mountains like an uninvited guest. One day the forest is frozen and silent. The next, water is running everywhere. Snow is retreating up the slopes, and the bamboo stands are waking from their winter sleep. The pandas have been waiting for this. Mei Lin is 7 years old, which in panda years means she is experienced, patient, and tired of everyone's nonsense. She has raised 3 cubs in her life. 2 survived, which is a better record than most. This spring she is alone, and that suits her perfectly. She moves through the forest with the efficiency of someone who knows exactly where the good bamboo grows and has no interest in sharing that information. Her territory covers roughly 4 square kilometers of mountainside. It is steep, dense, and filled with the kind of bamboo that requires serious commitment to eat. Arrow bamboo grows thick on the lower slopes. Umbrella bamboo prefers the wetter areas near streams. Each type has its season, and Mei Lin has spent years learning which to eat and when. She wakes in the hollow of a massive fir tree where she has slept through the worst of winter. The den smells like damp earth and her own musk, which she finds comforting in a way that would alarm a house cat. Outside, the light is gray and soft. She stretches, which for a panda means leaning slightly to one side and then the other, and begins her day the way she begins every day, by looking for food. The bamboo near her den has been stripped down to nubs. She has been working this patch for weeks, eating her way through it with the systematic determination of someone who knows there is no other option. Now it is time to move. Pandas do not run to their meals, they walk. Mei Lin descends the slope with a rolling gait that looks slow but covers ground steadily. Her paws are large, padded, and equipped with a 6th digit. It is not really a thumb. It is an extended wrist bone covered in skin, and it works like a thumb when she grips bamboo stalks, which is most of the time. She finds a fresh stand of arrow bamboo halfway down the mountain, where sunlight breaks through the canopy in slanted beams. The stalks are young, green, and still tender. This is the best eating of the year. Mei Lin sits. She pulls a stalk toward her with one paw, bites it near the base, and begins stripping the outer layers with her teeth. Her jaws are massive, built for crushing. Her molars are broad and flat, designed to grind fibrous plant material into something her stomach can attempt to digest. She chews with focus, her small ears flicking occasionally at the sound of birds overhead. A panda's digestive system is a tragedy of evolution. They have the gut of a carnivore. short, simple, built for meat. Yet they eat bamboo, which requires a long, complex system full of bacteria that can break down cellulose. Pandas have none of that. They process roughly 20% of what they eat. The rest passes through them in less than a day, politely unchanged. To survive on such a poor return, they eat constantly, 12 to 14 hours every single day. Mei Lin will consume nearly 15 kilograms of bamboo before nightfall. That is roughly 30 pounds. In exchange, she will extract enough nutrition to sit still and do it again tomorrow. This is her life. It is not glamorous, it is not exciting, but it is hers, and she has no complaints. Across the valley, another panda is waking to very different priorities. His name is Bao, and he is 8 years old. He is larger than Mei Lin by a third, with a broader chest and a face that might look intimidating if pandas could manage intimidation. They cannot. Even when annoyed, they look like someone who just remembered they left the stove on but decided it was probably fine. Bao is not interested in bamboo this morning. He is interested in something far more urgent. Spring is mating season, and for 2 to 3 days each year, female pandas become receptive. That window is brief, specific, and maddeningly difficult to predict. Males like Bao spend weeks patrolling their ranges, searching for any sign that a female is approaching estrus. They scent mark trees by rubbing their hindquarters against the bark, leaving chemical messages that say, "This is mine, I was here, and I am very impressive." They listen for calls. They sniff the air with a focus that borders on obsession. Today, Bao catches something, a scent on the wind, faint but unmistakable. It is Mei Lin, and she is close to her fertile window. He stands, shakes himself, and begins moving uphill. His gait is faster now, purposeful. He has competition, and he knows it. Pandas are solitary by nature. They do not form packs or herds. Each adult maintains its own territory, marked and defended with scent, vocalizations, and the occasional physical confrontation that looks more like wrestling than actual combat. But during mating season, territories overlap. Males wander into each other's ranges. Females tolerate the intrusion because biology gives them no choice. Bao climbs toward the ridge where Mei Lin's scent is strongest. He pauses every few minutes to mark a tree, pressing his scent glands against the bark and twisting his body to spread the secretion as high as he can reach. It is a message to any other male. I am here. This is mine. Turn around. But someone else is already here. His name is Shen, and he is younger than Bao by 2 years, lighter by 10 kilograms, and far less experienced in the politics of panda courtship. He has been following Mei Lin's scent for years, climbing the same trails, marking the same trees, and somehow believing that enthusiasm will compensate for size. When Bao rounds a mossy boulder and finds Shen standing on the trail ahead, both pandas freeze. For a moment, neither moves. They stare at each other with the blank expression pandas use for everything from mild curiosity to serious concern. Then Bao huffs. It is a low, sharp sound like air forced through a wet cloth. It means leave. Shen does not leave. He huffs back. This is a problem. Pandas are not violent by preference. They would rather avoid confrontation. But when 2 males want the same female, and that female is only available for approximately 48 hours, compromise is not an option. Bao steps forward. Shen holds his ground. They begin to circle each other, slowly, heads low, eyes locked. It looks like a dance, and in a way it is. a dance with rules neither of them wants to break, but both are willing to bend. Bao lunges first, not a real attack, a feint. He swats the air near Shen's face, claws out but not aimed. Shen flinches, steps back, then counters with his own swipe. They close the distance. Their bodies collide with a sound like wet laundry hitting the ground. They grapple, pushing against each other, each trying to force the other off balance. Bao is heavier, Shen is faster. They roll down the slope in a tangle of black and white fur, grunting and huffing, paws slapping at each other's shoulders and sides. It is not graceful. Pandas are built for sitting and eating, not for combat. Their movements are slow, heavy, and deeply committed to the idea that effort should be avoided whenever possible. But they are trying, and that counts for something. The fight ends when Shen loses his footing on a wet root and tumbles into a thicket of bamboo. He scrambles upright, panting, and looks back at Bao, who is also panting and looks equally tired. Bao huffs again. This time Shen listens. He turns and walks downhill, glancing back once, then disappearing into the trees. Bao watches him go. Then he sits down heavily, because fighting is exhausting, and he needs a moment to remember why he was doing this in the first place. Mei Lin, meanwhile, is completely unaware of the drama unfolding in her name. She is halfway up a different ridge, eating umbrella bamboo near a stream, and thinking about absolutely nothing. She has been scent marking more frequently over the past few days, rubbing her hindquarters on trees, leaving urine on rocks, creating a chemical trail that says, "I am here and I am ready. Come find me if you are large and uninjured." She does not consciously think about mating. Pandas do not plan their lives. But her body knows what it is doing, and her body is broadcasting availability across several square kilometers of forest. By midday, Bao finds her. He approaches slowly, huffing softly to announce himself. Mei Lin turns, looks at him, and goes back to eating. This is not rejection. This is pandas. Bao sits a few meters away and waits. He has learned that rushing does not work. Females set the pace, and males who forget that get bitten. They spend the rest of the afternoon in proximity, not touching, not interacting, just existing in the same space while Mei Lin eats and Bao watches and occasionally marks a nearby tree to remind the universe that he got here first. As the sun drops behind the ridge, Mei Lin finishes her meal, turns and walks toward a dense patch of rhododendron. Bao follows. They disappear into the undergrowth, and for the next 2 days they will stay close, not constantly together. Pandas are not romantic, but near enough that when Mei Lin's brief fertile window opens, Bao will be there. This is how pandas have survived for millions of years, slowly, patiently, with a level of commitment to doing as little as possible while still accomplishing what must be done. Spring continues. The forest grows greener. Streams run loud with snowmelt. 3 days pass. Mei Lin and Bao mate twice during her fertile window, which in panda terms constitutes a successful relationship. There is no ceremony, no extended courtship, no lingering affection. When the window closes, Mei Lin's interest vanishes like smoke. Bao, sensing the change, wanders off to mark more trees and eat bamboo he has been neglecting. He has done his part. The rest is not his concern. Male pandas do not raise cubs. They do not bring food. They do not guard territory for females. Their contribution begins and ends with those brief encounters in spring, and then they return to being solitary creatures who occasionally forget other pandas exist. Maylin returns to her routine as if nothing happened. She eats, she sleeps, she marks her territory with the same efficiency she brings to everything. But inside her, cells are dividing. A fertilized egg floats in her uterus, not yet implanted, waiting. Pandas have evolved a feature called delayed implantation. The embryo pauses its development for weeks or even months, giving Maylin's body time to build fat reserves before committing to pregnancy. If food is scarce, the embryo will not attach. If conditions are good, it will implant in late summer and begin growing in earnest. This system evolved as insurance. Spring is when pandas mate because it is when females ovulate. But spring is not when cubs should be born. Cubs need to arrive in late summer or early autumn, when bamboo is abundant and the weather is mild enough for tiny, helpless newborns to survive. So Maylin carries the potential for new life without carrying the burden. Not yet. While Maylin adjusts to her post-mating solitude, the forest fills with others. A younger female named Xiao moves through the lower slopes, eating her way through patches of tender bamboo shoots. She is 4 years old, and this is her first spring alone. Last year, she was still with her mother, learning which bamboo to eat and how to read scent marks. Now she has her own territory, a narrow strip of mountainside that borders Maylin's range. Xiao is cautious in a way that only inexperience creates. She checks every tree for scent marks before passing. She listens constantly for sounds that might mean trouble. She eats quickly, as if someone might arrive and take her food, even though no one is coming. Her territory is smaller than Maylin's, and the bamboo is less abundant. The best areas are already claimed by older, more established females. Xiao got what was left. It is enough to survive, but only if she works harder than the others. She spends her days moving between feeding sites, never staying long in one place. She has not mated this spring. Males passed through her territory, scent marked her trees, and kept walking. She was receptive, but she was also young and untested. Males like Bao prioritize experience. They look for females who have raised cubs before, who know how to survive winter, who carry the scent of competence. Xiao will have to wait another year, maybe 2. It bothers her less than it would bother a human. Pandas do not dwell on missed opportunities. They eat bamboo and move forward. Higher on the mountain, in a section of forest so steep that even experienced climbers struggle, lives an old male named Tai. He is 14 years old, which makes him ancient in panda years. His muzzle is graying. His teeth are worn down to blunt nubs from decades of grinded bamboo. He moves slowly now, with the careful deliberation of someone whose joints ache in the cold. Tai has not participated in mating season for 3 years. He no longer has the strength to fight younger males, or the stamina to patrol a large territory. His range has shrunk to a single ridge, a quiet place where the bamboo grows thick and the streams run cold and clear. He spends his days eating and resting in roughly equal measure. He has no ambitions left, no rivals to defeat, no females to impress. He is simply here, living each day as it comes, which is all any panda has ever done. Other pandas avoid his territory, not because he is dangerous, but because there is an unspoken understanding. Old males are left alone. They have earned their peace. Tai does not seem to notice or care. He sits in a patch of sunlight on a flat rock, chewing bamboo with the slow rhythm of someone who has chewed 1,000,000 stalks before and will chew 1,000,000 more if his teeth hold out. Around him, the forest hums with life. Birds build nests in the high branches. Golden monkeys chatter and leap through the canopy, their long tails streaming behind them like banners. Takins, heavy and shaggy, graze on the alpine meadows above the tree line. The pandas share this forest with dozens of other species, but they rarely interact. Pandas are not social with their own kind, let alone with others. They exist in parallel, aware of each other, but unbothered. A red panda, small and rust-colored, occasionally crosses paths with Mei Lin near the stream. The red panda freezes when it sees her, then skitters up a tree and watches from a branch. Mei Lin ignores it completely. She has no interest in animals that do not compete for her bamboo. The forest itself is ancient. These mountains have held pandas for millions of years, long before humans arrived with roads and farms and names for things. The trees grow tall and thick, wrapped in moss that glows green in the filtered light. Rhododendrons bloom in bursts of red and pink, filling the understory with color. Water is everywhere. Streams carve paths down the slopes, pooling in quiet eddies where pandas sometimes drink. Waterfalls tumble over cliffs, their sound a constant backdrop. Rain is frequent, turning the trails to mud and the air to mist. Pandas do not mind the rain. Their fur is dense, oily, water-resistant. They sit through storms without complaint, chewing bamboo while water drips from their ears. As spring deepens, the bamboo shoots begin their fastest growth. In some species, shoots can grow nearly a meter in a single day. The forest floor erupts with fresh green stalks, and the pandas feast. Shoots are the most nutritious part of the bamboo plant. Higher in protein, lower in fiber, easier to digest. Pandas will eat shoots whenever they can, prioritizing them over leaves and stems. Mei Lin finds a dense cluster of new shoots near her den and spends an entire afternoon stripping them down to nothing. She eats until her belly is round and tight, then waddles to the stream to drink. Water is essential. Bamboo is dry, fibrous, and requires significant hydration to process. Pandas drink frequently, sometimes several times a day, lowering their broad faces to the surface and lapping with tongues that are surprisingly delicate. After drinking, Mei Lin climbs a tree, not to escape danger, not to reach food, simply because she feels like it. Pandas are excellent climbers despite their size. Their claws are strong and curved, perfect for gripping bark. They ascend with a slow, methodical pace, testing each branch before trusting it with their weight. Mei Lin settles into the crook of a large fir, 20 feet above the ground, and closes her eyes. The branch sways gently in the breeze. Below her, the forest continues its routines. Birds call, water runs, bamboo grows. She sleeps for 3 hours, which is a perfectly reasonable way to spend an afternoon when you are a panda and have no meetings to attend. When she wakes, the light has shifted to the warm gold of late afternoon. She descends the tree with the same care she used to climb it, claws scraping bark, hindquarters swinging out as she lowers herself, branch by branch. At the base, she pauses to scratch her back against the trunk, twisting and rubbing with the satisfaction of someone who has found exactly the right spot. Then she walks to a new feeding site and begins eating again. This is spring in the mountains, a season of growth, of mating, of long days filled with bamboo and occasional naps in trees. The pandas move through it with a rhythm older than memory. They do not hurry. They do not worry. They simply exist, black and white shapes against green, chewing their way through another year in the only home they have ever known. By late spring, the forest has transformed completely. The last snow has melted from even the highest ridges. Wildflowers bloom in the meadows above the tree line. The air is thick with pollen and the smell of growing things. Maylin has settled into a routine that will carry her through the coming months. She wakes before dawn, when the light is gray and soft. She eats for 3 hours without pause. She rests in shade during the hottest part of the day. She eats again in the afternoon. She drinks from the stream as the sun sets. She climbs to her sleeping tree and settles in for the night. It is not a life of adventure. It is a life of maintenance. Every day she must consume enough bamboo to fuel her body. Every day she must patrol enough territory to ensure no one else claims her feeding sites. Every day she must simply survive, which is harder than it looks when your diet provides almost no energy and winter is always 6 months away. But for now, spring is generous. The bamboo is lush, the weather is mild, and somewhere inside Maylin, a tiny cluster of cells waits for its signal to begin growing into something that will change her life completely. She does not know this yet. She will not know for months. For now, she is simply a panda, doing what pandas do, eating bamboo, climbing trees, existing in the quiet company of mountains that have held her kind since the world was young. Summer arrives without announcement. One morning the air is cool and damp. The next it is warm and heavy, pressing down on the forest like a wet blanket. The bamboo responds by growing even faster. Leaves thicken on the stalks. New shoots continue pushing up through the soil, though less abundantly than in spring. The forest canopy closes overhead, turning the trails into green tunnels where sunlight arrives in scattered coins. Maylin adjusts her schedule. She feeds earlier in the morning, before the heat builds. She rests through the middle of the day in the deepest shade she can find, often near the stream where the air is marginally cooler. She resumes eating in late afternoon, continuing until darkness makes it difficult to see which stalks are worth the effort. Pandas do not handle heat well. They evolved in cool mountain forests, and their thick fur reflects that history. In summer, they pant. They seek elevation, climbing higher into the mountains where temperatures drop. They drape themselves over cool rocks like very large, very lazy house cats. Maylin finds a favorite boulder near her den, a flat slab of granite that stays cold even in afternoon sun. She lies on it belly down, legs sprawled, looking like someone who has given up on dignity entirely. It is remarkably effective. The forest around her is loud with life. Cicadas buzz in waves that rise and fall like breathing. Birds call from the canopy, their voices sharp and insistent. The stream runs lower now, its spring fury reduced to a steady murmur over smooth stones. Other animals move through Maylin's territory, but they give her space. A golden pheasant struts along the trail, tail feathers trailing like a cape. It freezes when it sees her, then decides she is not worth worrying about and continues pecking at seeds. A bamboo rat emerges from its burrow near a fallen log, whiskers twitching. It is small, round, and utterly focused on gathering food. Maylin watches it for a moment with the detached interest of someone observing a stranger's hobby. The rat notices her, squeaks, and vanishes underground. Life in the forest operates on parallel tracks. Everyone is busy. No one interferes. By midsummer, Maylin's body begins to change in ways too subtle for her to notice. The embryo that has been floating dormant inside her finally receives its signal. Her hormone levels shift. The tiny cluster of cells attaches to the wall of her uterus and begins to grow. She is pregnant now, though the cub is barely larger than a grain of rice. It will stay that size for weeks, growing slowly while Maylin continues eating bamboo and ignoring the future. Panda pregnancies are short. From implantation to birth takes only 6 to 8 weeks. The cub will arrive in late summer, tiny and underdeveloped, utterly helpless. This is the panda way. Invest as little as possible in pregnancy. Make up for it with months of intensive care after birth. Maylin does not know any of this, consciously, but her body knows. It begins laying down fat reserves, storing energy for the months ahead when she will need to nurse a cub while barely eating. She increases her feeding time, not dramatically, just an extra hour here and there. Her appetite, already substantial, becomes unrelenting. Across the valley, Xiao is having a different kind of summer. She has lost weight. Her ribs show faintly beneath her fur. Her territory, smaller and less productive than Maylin's, is struggling under the heat. The bamboo in her range is older, tougher, less nutritious. The shoots finished early, and now she is left with mature stalks and leaves that provide calories but little else. She eats constantly and stays hungry. Xiao has also made a mistake. She wandered too far downslope one afternoon, following a promising stand of umbrella bamboo, and crossed into another female's territory. The older female, a panda named Hua, did not appreciate the intrusion. She came crashing through the undergrowth, huffing and swatting at the air, making herself as large and loud as possible. Xiao fled immediately, abandoning the bamboo and scrambling uphill with her ears flattened. She did not stop until she was safely back in her own range, panting and shaken. It was a lesson. Territories are not suggestions, they are law. Now Xiao stays within her boundaries, even when she can smell better bamboo just beyond the invisible line. She eats what she has and hopes it will be enough. Higher on the mountain, Tai continues his slow routine. He has found a grove of old-growth fir where the bamboo grows in thick, reliable patches. The grove is cool even in summer, shaded by trees so tall their tops disappear into mist. Tai spends his days moving between 3 or 4 feeding sites, eating until he is full, then resting in the moss. His pace has slowed even further. He naps more frequently. He climbs trees less often, preferring to sleep on the ground where the effort required is minimal. He is not sick. He is simply old. His body is winding down the way all bodies do, shedding energy, losing mass, moving toward an end that he does not understand and would not worry about if he did. For now, he is comfortable. The bamboo is adequate. The weather is tolerable. That is enough. Bao, meanwhile, has returned to his pre-mating existence as if spring never happened. He patrols his territory with the same intensity he always has, marking trees, checking scent trails, eating bamboo in quantities that would horrify a nutritionist. His range overlaps with 2 other males, and summer brings the usual tensions. They avoid each other when possible, but sometimes their paths cross. One morning, Bao encounters a younger male near a stream. The younger panda is drinking, head down, vulnerable. Bao huffs. The younger male looks up, water dripping from his chin, and immediately backs away. No fight, no posturing, just acknowledgement of the hierarchy. Bao drinks, marks a nearby tree for emphasis, and continues on his way. Dominance among male pandas is less about constant conflict and more about established understanding. The big males hold the best territories. The younger males take what is left and wait their turn. Everyone knows where they stand. As summer deepens, the rains begin. Not the brief showers of spring, but long, steady downpours that last for days. The forest becomes a study in gray and green. Mist clings to the slopes. Streams swell and turn brown with runoff. Trails become rivers of mud. The pandas continue their routines, unbothered. They sit in the rain, water streaming off their fur, chewing bamboo with the expression of someone waiting for a bus that is already 20 minutes late. Their dense coats shed water efficiently. The outer layer of guard hairs is coarse and oily. Beneath that is a thick undercoat that traps air and insulates. Rain soaks the surface but rarely penetrates to the skin. Still, wet pandas are miserable in the way that all wet things are miserable. They shake themselves occasionally, sending spray in all directions. They groom more frequently, using their teeth to pull burrs and debris from their fur. They seek shelter when the rain is particularly heavy, huddling under overhanging rocks or in the hollow bases of ancient trees. Maylin finds a shallow cave halfway up her territory, a split in the rock face just deep enough to keep the rain off her back. She settles inside, legs tucked beneath her, and waits. The rain drums on the stone overhead. The forest blurs into a wash of gray. Time passes in a way that has no meaning to a panda. Minutes or hours, it does not matter. She will sit here until the rain stops, or until hunger drives her back out into it. Eventually, hunger wins. She emerges into the drizzle, shakes herself once, and walks to the nearest bamboo stand. The stalks are slick with water. She eats them anyway, pulling each one toward her with practiced efficiency, stripping the leaves, chewing with the steady rhythm that defines her existence. By late summer, the forest begins to shift again. The heat breaks, the rains taper off, nights grow cooler, hinting at the autumn to come. Maylin's belly is noticeably rounder now. The cub inside her has grown from rice grain to something the size of a plum. It will not grow much larger before birth. Panda cubs are born extremely premature compared to most mammals. They weigh roughly 100 grams at birth. That is 3.5 ounces, smaller than a stick of butter. Maylin does not prepare a den yet. It is too early. But she begins paying attention to possible sites, hollow trees with deep interiors, caves with narrow entrances, anywhere that is dry, enclosed, and safe from predators. Predators are rare this high in the mountains, but they exist. Leopards occasionally pass through, hunting smaller prey. Martens den in rock crevices and would eat a newborn cub if given the chance. Maylin's job, once the cub arrives, will be to ensure no one gets that chance. For now, she continues eating, building reserves, carrying the small life inside her toward its uncertain beginning. The other pandas notice nothing. Xiao is focused on her own survival, eating every available stalk in her limited range. Tai rests more than he eats, content in his quiet grove. Bao marks territory and patrols, and occasionally fights with younger males who wander too close. They are not a family. They are not a community. They are individuals sharing a forest, each absorbed in their own routines, unaware of the others except when scent or sound forces awareness. This is how pandas have always lived. Alone, but not lonely. Independent, but not isolated. Connected by the same mountains, the same bamboo, the same ancient rhythms that have carried them through millennia. Summer ends the way it began, gradually, without ceremony. One morning, Maylin wakes to find the air has changed. It is cooler, sharper. The light slants differently through the trees. Autumn is coming, and with it, everything will change. But first, summer has a few more weeks to unfold. The bamboo enters a new phase of growth. Arrow bamboo produces seed heads in some areas, tiny flowers that appear once in decades and then cause the entire stand to die back. This is one of the great dangers of panda life: mass bamboo flowering. When a bamboo species flowers and dies, pandas must find alternatives or starve. Historically, this has driven population declines. Pandas cannot simply migrate long distances. They are tied to their territories, their known feeding sites, their carefully maintained ranges. This summer, only small patches are flowering, not enough to threaten anyone. Maylin passes a dying stand one afternoon and simply walks around it, moving to a neighboring grove where a different bamboo species grows thick and green. She has lived through bamboo die-offs before. She knows, in the way animals know without thinking, that flexibility matters, that having multiple bamboo species in her territory is insurance, that survival sometimes means eating the less desirable stalks and waiting for better times. Other animals in the forest are less adaptable. A family of takins grazes on the alpine meadows, huge and shaggy, built like a cross between a goat and a bison. They eat grasses, herbs, anything green. When one meadow is depleted, they walk to another. Golden monkeys travel in troops of 30 or more, chattering and leaping through the canopy. They eat leaves, bark, lichen, fruit when they can find it. Their range is enormous compared to a panda's. They can cover kilometers in a day, moving wherever food is abundant. Pandas have no such luxury. They are specialists taken to the extreme. They eat bamboo, almost exclusively bamboo. 99% of their diet is bamboo. The remaining 1% is an assortment of oddities. Occasionally, a panda will eat small rodents if one happens to be conveniently deceased. They will chew on bones for calcium. They will sample grasses or herbs, though they rarely continue eating them. This specialization makes them vulnerable, but it also makes them experts. No other animal can process bamboo as efficiently as a panda. No other animal has jaws strong enough to crush the thick culms. No other animal can spend 14 hours a day eating the same plant and somehow extract enough nutrition to survive. It is a narrow path, but pandas have walked it successfully for millions of years. Maylin represents this balance perfectly. She knows every bamboo stand in her territory. She knows which species grow where. She knows which are most nutritious in each season. She rotates her feeding sites to avoid depleting any single area. This knowledge is not taught. It is learned through years of trial and error. Young pandas, newly independent, often struggle their first year alone because they lack this accumulated wisdom. They eat the wrong bamboo at the wrong time. They overgraze their best sites. They waste energy traveling between patches that are too far apart. Experience is everything. Xiao is learning this the hard way. She has been rotating through her 3 main feeding areas, but she rotates too quickly, not giving each site enough time to recover. By late summer, all 3 are showing signs of stress. The bamboo is shorter, thinner, less productive. She tries expanding her range, but every direction leads into someone else's territory. Above her is Mei Lin. Below is Hua. To the east and west are other females she has never met, but whose scent marks are unmistakable. She is boxed in. One evening, driven by hunger, she crosses into Mei Lin's range again. Not far, just a few dozen meters, just enough to reach a stand of umbrella bamboo that looks thick and untouched. She eats quickly, ears swiveling, alert for any sound of approach. The bamboo is good, fresh, sweet. She is on her third stalk when she smells it. Mei Lin's scent, recent, very recent. Xiao freezes, bamboo dangling from her mouth. She drops it and backs away slowly. Then she turns and runs. Mei Lin emerges from the trees moments later, huffing irritation. She has been resting in a nearby thicket and heard the sounds of chewing. She sniffs the air, identifies Xiao's scent, and marks the nearest tree with aggressive deliberation. Then she eats the bamboo Xiao abandoned, because waste is unacceptable. Territorial disputes among female pandas rarely escalate to violence. Mostly they involve scent marking, vocalizations, and displays of size. The larger, older female almost always wins. The younger one retreats. But the pressure is real. Xiao cannot keep crossing boundaries. Eventually she will be injured, or forced out entirely, or she will starve trying to survive on inadequate resources. She needs a break, a piece of luck. An older female dying or moving or simply leaving a gap. For now, she endures. The weeks pass. Temperatures continue to drop. The light changes, becoming thinner, more golden. Leaves on the deciduous trees begin to yellow at the edges. Mei Lin's pregnancy progresses. The cub is growing now, drawing nutrients from her reserves. She feels heavier, slower. Climbing trees becomes more difficult. She does it anyway, because sleeping off the ground is safer. She begins scouting dens in earnest. There is a hollow fir tree near the center of her territory, a massive trunk split by lightning years ago. The interior is dry, spacious, well insulated. She inspects it twice, circling, sniffing, testing the entrance with her bulk. It will work. She does not move in yet. The cub is still weeks away, but she knows where she will go when the time comes. Bao, unaware of Mei Lin's condition, continues his relentless patrol. He has gained weight over the summer, his body thick with fat. This is intentional. Winter is coming, and food will be harder to find. Every kilogram he adds now is insurance against the lean months. He encounters Shen one afternoon near the ridge line. The younger male has also been feeding heavily, bulking up for winter. They stare at each other across a small clearing. Neither moves. After a long moment, Shen turns and walks away. The spring battles are over. There's no point fighting now. Bao watches him go, then continues marking trees. Dominance must be maintained even when mating season is months away. High in his quiet grove, Tai sleeps more than he is awake. His body is shutting down in increments. He still eats, but less. He still moves, but slower. One morning, he does not wake. He lies beneath a fir tree, curled on his side, his breath coming in shallow pulls. The forest continues around him. Birds call. Wind moves through the branches. Somewhere down the mountain, a stream runs over stones. By afternoon, he is gone. His body will nourish the soil. Insects will come first, then larger scavengers. Within weeks, little will remain except bones and fur. The forest absorbs him back into itself the way it has absorbed countless pandas before him. No other panda notices. They do not mourn. They do not gather. Death is simply an absence, and absence in a solitary life is the default state. Ty's territory will remain empty for a time. Then, gradually, others will expand into it. Bao will claim the eastern section. A younger male will move into the west. The bamboo will be eaten. The trails will be walked. Life will continue. This is the way of things. Late summer arrives with a burst of energy, the final growth push before autumn. Bamboo shoots appear again, though fewer than in spring. The forest canopy is at its densest. Every surface is green. Mei Lin eats with renewed focus. Her body is preparing for the most demanding period of her life. She will give birth soon. After that, she will barely eat for weeks while the cub nurses constantly. She must store enough fat to survive that period, enough to produce milk, enough to keep herself alive while caring for something smaller than a chipmunk. Her appetite becomes ferocious. She eats 16, 17, 18 kilograms of bamboo a day. She drinks until her belly sloshes. She rests only when exhaustion forces her to stop. Xiao, watching from a distance, sees Mei Lin's condition and understands nothing. She sees only a competitor growing larger, taking more resources, dominating the shared boundary between their territories. Xiao's own situation has not improved. She is thinner now, her coat less glossy. She still eats constantly, but it is not enough. One night, she makes a decision. She will move, not far, just to the northwestern edge of her current range, where the bamboo is slightly better and where an old male used to live. She does not know that the old male is dead. She only knows that his scent has faded, that the territory might be empty. It is a risk. Moving means fighting for new ground, but staying means slow starvation. She begins her shift gradually, spending more time on the northwestern slopes, less in her old core area. She marks trees aggressively, announcing her presence, claiming what she can. No one challenges her immediately. The territory is, in fact, empty. By late summer, Xiao has established herself in a new range. It is marginally better than her old one. The bamboo is thicker. The water sources are reliable. She has room to breathe. It is not luxury. It is survival. And for a young panda in her first year alone, survival is victory. The summer ends on a cool, clear evening. The sky is washed clean by afternoon rain. Stars appear early, sharp and bright. Mei Lin sits on her favorite boulder, belly full, body heavy with the cub she does not yet know she carries. Around her, the forest settles into the rhythms of approaching night. Frogs begin their chorus near the stream. A nightjar calls from the canopy, its voice soft and rhythmic. The air smells like wet earth and bamboo and the faint sweetness of late blooming flowers. Mei Lin will sleep soon. Tomorrow she will eat again, and the day after that, and the day after that. This is her life, simple, repetitive, sufficient. Autumn is one day away, but she does not think about it. She thinks about nothing. She simply is. A black and white shape on a dark stone, breathing steady, content in the brief peace between seasons. Autumn arrives in the mountains like a whisper that gradually becomes a shout. The first sign is light. It changes angle, slanting through the trees at a steeper pitch. Mornings are crisp and clear. Afternoons are warm but brief. Evenings come early, shadows stretching long before the sun touches the western ridges. The bamboo begins its seasonal shift. Arrow bamboo starts storing energy in its roots, preparing for winter dormancy. The leaves lose some of their moisture, becoming tougher, less palatable. Umbrella bamboo continues growing, but more slowly. Pandas adjust accordingly. They eat more umbrella bamboo now. rotating their feeding sites to follow the best nutrition. Mei Lin feels the shift in her body more than in the forest. She is heavy now, uncomfortable. The cub inside her has grown as large as it will get before birth, which is still remarkably small. She moves carefully, avoiding steep slopes. She climbs trees less frequently, preferring to rest on the ground where she can sprawl without worrying about balance. Her appetite has decreased slightly, not from choice, but from space. The cub presses against her stomach, limiting how much bamboo she can fit inside. She compensates by eating smaller amounts more frequently. One morning in early autumn, she wakes with the sensation she has felt twice before: a tightness, a pulling, an awareness that something is about to happen. She stands, shakes herself, and walks to the hollow fir tree she inspected weeks ago. She circles it once, sniffing the entrance, checking for any sign of intrusion. It is empty, clean, safe. She squeezes inside. The interior is larger than it appears from outside, a natural cavity carved by decay over decades. The floor is covered in dry needles and soft wood pulp. It smells like old timber and earth. Mei Lin begins preparing. She scrapes at the floor with her paws, clearing debris. She circles the space repeatedly, testing the dimensions. She lies down, stands up, lies down again in different positions. Finally, she settles. Labor begins slowly. Contractions come in waves, building gradually. Pandas do not vocalize much during birth. An occasional grunt, a soft bleat when the pain intensifies. But mostly they labor in silence, breathing through it, waiting. Hours pass. Outside the den, the forest continues its routines. Birds forage, insects buzz. The stream runs steady over its bed. No one knows what is happening inside the hollow tree. No one would care if they did. By afternoon, Mei Lin delivers. The cub emerges tiny, pink, blind, and helpless. It weighs 110 grams, 4 ounces, smaller than Mei Lin's paw. She reaches down immediately and picks it up in her mouth, gently, cradling it against her chest. It squeaks, a thin, high sound like a baby bird. Mei Lin begins licking it, stimulating circulation, cleaning away fluids. Her tongue is rough and large compared to the cub's body. Each stroke nearly engulfs it. The cub is naked, except for a sparse coat of white fuzz. Its eyes are sealed shut. Its ears are tiny flaps pressed flat against its skull. It has no teeth, no mobility, no ability to regulate its own temperature. It is, by any measure, absurdly underdeveloped. This is normal for pandas. They give birth to the smallest cubs relative to mother's body size of any placental mammal. A 100-kilogram panda produces a cub that is roughly 1/900th her weight. The evolutionary reason is unclear. Some researchers suggest it is an adaptation to bamboo's low nutritional value. Carrying a large fetus to term would require energy Mei Lin simply does not have. Better to birth early and invest the energy in nursing. Others point to the panda's bear ancestry. Bears give birth during winter hibernation. Pandas do not hibernate, but they may retain the trait of tiny cubs as a remnant of their evolutionary past. Whatever the reason, the result is the same. A cub so small and fragile that survival seems impossible. Yet Mei Lin knows exactly what to do. She cradles the cub against her chest, curved around it like a living blanket. The cub finds a nipple and begins nursing, its mouth working weakly. Mei Lin does not move for hours. She lies on her side, the cub tucked against her belly, one massive paw cupped protectively around it. This is the beginning of the most demanding period of her life. For the next several weeks, she will barely eat. She cannot leave the cub unattended. It will die within minutes if her body heat is removed. It cannot see, hear, or move on its own. It cannot even eliminate waste without her stimulating it by licking. She will nurse it constantly. Her milk is extraordinarily rich, more concentrated than cow's milk or human milk. It has to be. The cub must grow rapidly from its absurdly tiny starting size. Maylin will lose weight, a lot of weight. She will burn through her fat reserves, her muscle mass, everything she stored during summer. This is the cost of raising a panda cub. Total, exhausting devotion. The first night passes in silence. Maylin dozes but does not truly sleep. Every hour or so, the cub wakes and nurses. She shifts carefully, making sure it stays warm, stays positioned correctly. By morning, the cub has already grown noticeably. Not in size, but in strength. Its suckling is more vigorous. Its squeaks are louder. Maylin licks it constantly, monitoring its condition. The cub's skin is turning from pink to gray, the first hint of pigmentation. In a few days, the black patches will begin appearing. Ears, eye patches, legs, shoulder band, the iconic markings that make pandas unmistakable. Outside the den, autumn deepens. Leaves on the scattered deciduous trees turn yellow and red. They fall in drifts, carpeting the forest floor. The air grows colder, especially at night. Frost appears on the highest ridges. The bamboo reacts by slowing its growth further. Some species begin dropping leaves, conserving energy for winter. The other pandas adjust their routines. Xiao, now established in her new territory, feeds heavily to build reserves. She has learned from summer's hardship. This time she rotates her sites carefully, never overgrazing. She is still thin, but no longer dangerously so. Bao continues his patrols, but they are less aggressive now. Winter is the quiet season, no mating, no territorial disputes, just survival. He has found a den of his own, a shallow cave on a south-facing slope. He does not plan to spend much time there. Males do not hibernate, but having shelter for the worst storms is prudent. Shen, the young male who challenged Bao in spring, has disappeared. No one knows where. Male pandas sometimes wander long distances searching for unclaimed territory or driven by restlessness. Perhaps he found a new range. Perhaps he did not survive the summer. The mountains do not reveal such answers. Inside her den, Maylin's world has shrunk to the space she can reach without moving. The cub, her body, the walls of the hollow tree, nothing else matters. By the end of the first week, the cub has doubled its weight, 200 grams, the size of a tennis ball. Its markings are visible now. Dark patches around closed eyes, black ears, black legs that curl uselessly against its belly. It still cannot see or hear, but it can smell. It nuzzles against Maylin, seeking warmth and milk. She continues her vigil. She licks the cub's genital area to stimulate elimination. She consumes the waste, keeping the den clean. She nurses every hour, sometimes more. Her stomach growls. She is desperately hungry, but she does not leave, not yet. On the 10th day, she ventures out for the first time. The cub is asleep, curled against the warm wood pulp in the safest corner of the den. Maylin slips outside, moving quietly despite her size. The world is shockingly bright after days in darkness. She blinks, adjusting. She walks directly to the nearest bamboo stand 15 meters away. She eats frantically, tearing through stalks, barely chewing. She needs calories desperately. She eats for 20 minutes, then stops. Anxiety pulls at her. She cannot stay away longer. She returns to the den, squeezes inside, and checks the cub. It is exactly where she left it, breathing steadily, unharmed. She curls around it and sleeps properly for the first time in days. This pattern continues. Short feeding trips, long hours in the den. Gradually, the trips lengthen. 30 minutes, an hour. The cub is stronger now, better able to regulate its temperature. It still cannot be left for long, but the urgency has eased slightly. By 3 weeks, the cub weighs half a kilogram. It is covered in soft fur now, black and white in the classic pattern. Its eyes are still sealed, but the skin over them is thinning. Soon it will see. Maylin has lost 15 kilograms. Her ribs are visible. Her face is gaunt. She looks like someone recovering from an illness. But the cub is thriving, and that is all that matters. Autumn continues its march toward winter. The temperatures drop steadily. Morning frost becomes a daily occurrence. The highest bamboo stands begin to yellow and die back. Pandas shift to lower elevations, following the bamboo that remains green. They eat more selectively now, choosing the most nutritious parts of each plant. Xiao makes a discovery one afternoon. A stand of water bamboo near a stream, thick and untouched. Water bamboo is less common than arrow or umbrella bamboo, but it is highly nutritious and stays green longer into winter. She feeds there for days, gaining weight, rebuilding her strength. She does not know it, but this stand is part of Ty's old territory. It has been empty since his passing. Now it is hers. Luck has finally arrived. Bao encounters his first snowfall of the season. Light flakes that melt on contact. He ignores them completely, sitting in a bamboo grove with snow collecting on his head and shoulders, chewing steadily. Pandas are unbothered by snow. They have lived in these mountains through ice ages. Snow is simply part of the landscape, no more concerning than rain. Inside the den, Maylin notices the temperature drop. She pulls the cub closer, curling tighter around it. The den's insulation is good, but not perfect. Cold seeps in through cracks in the wood. The cub is warm enough against her body. She keeps it pressed to her belly where her fur is thickest. At 4 weeks, the cub's eyes begin to open. First the left, then the right. They are unfocused, cloudy, seeing shapes but no details. The cub blinks at the dim interior of the den. It sees its mother's face, a blur of white and black. It sees the wooden walls. It sees light filtering through the entrance. The world, previously limited to scent and touch and sound, expands. Maylin watches the cub explore this new sense. It turns its head, tracking movement. It squeaks with apparent excitement. She licks its face, and the cub licks back clumsily. This is progress. By 5 weeks, the cub is mobile. Not walking, not even crawling properly, but it can wiggle, push with its legs, move a few centimeters in any direction. It explores the den in slow, laborious journeys that take minutes to cover distances Maylin crosses in a single step. She watches constantly, ready to retrieve it if it wanders too far or gets into trouble. The cub finds a piece of bark, sniffs it, chews it experimentally. It tastes nothing like milk. The cub spits it out and returns to nursing. Maylin allows these explorations. Cubs learn by interacting with their environment. As long as it stays safe, she does not interfere. Autumn is ending now. The leaves have all fallen from the deciduous trees. The bamboo stands are sparse, stripped by hungry pandas preparing for winter. The forest has a bare, waiting quality. The birds have mostly migrated. The insects are dormant. Even the stream sounds quieter, its flow slowed by cold. Winter is 1 week away. maybe less. Maylin knows this without knowing how she knows. Her body feels the change, the air, the light, the bamboo. She increases her feeding, taking longer trips from the den. The cub is strong enough now to survive an hour alone. It sleeps most of that time anyway. She eats until her stomach aches, storing every possible calorie. Winter will be hard, harder than summer, harder than anything except the early weeks of the cub's life. But she has survived winters before. She will survive this one. The cub, curled in the den, sleeps and grows. It does not know about winter. It does not know about danger or cold or scarcity. It knows warmth. It knows milk. It knows its mother's voice, a low rumble that vibrates through its body when she returns. That is enough. For now, that is the entire world, a den, a mother, a future that stretches no further than the next feeding. Autumn fades to memory. Winter arrives on a morning when the air tastes like metal. Maylin wakes to find snow falling in thick, silent flakes. It covers the ground in minutes. It piles on the branches overhead. She shakes herself, dislodging snow from her fur. She looks back at the den, where the cub is sleeping. Then she walks into the white forest to find bamboo, because that is what pandas do. They eat, they survive, they carry on, one day at a time, one stalk at a time, through seasons that turn and never stop turning. This is the way. It has always been the way. And in the mountains of Sichuan, black and white shapes move through falling snow, patient as stones, enduring as the earth itself. The snow does not stop. It falls for 2 days, blanketing the forest in white silence. Drifts pile against tree trunks. Bamboo stalks bend under the weight, some snapping with soft cracks. The world becomes monochrome. White ground, white air, dark trees standing like pillars in a vast empty hall. Maylin's tracks through the snow are the only signs of movement. Deep impressions, each paw print clear, leading from den to feeding site and back. She digs through snow to reach bamboo. It is harder now. The effort burns calories she can barely afford to spend, but there is no choice. She sweeps snow aside with her paws, exposing the green stalks beneath. She eats quickly, efficiently, then returns to the cub. The cub, now 6 weeks old, is more aware of its mother's absences. When she leaves, it bleats, soft at first, then louder if she does not return quickly. When she squeezes back into the den, the cub waddles toward her on unsteady legs. Its eyes are fully open now. It can see her clearly. It recognizes her. This is new. In previous weeks, the cub responded to scent and warmth. Now it responds to sight, to recognition, to the specific presence of this particular panda. Maylin licks the cub's face. The cub squeaks and nuzzles against her. They settle together in their familiar positions. Outside, the temperature continues to drop. At night, it falls well below freezing. The stream develops ice along its edges. The air is so cold it burns to breathe. Pandas are built for this. Their fur provides extraordinary insulation. The outer layer repels moisture. The inner layer traps air, creating a barrier between skin and environment. A panda's core body temperature remains stable even when the air temperature drops to -20 Celsius. They do not shiver. They do not huddle for warmth except when nursing cubs. They simply endure. But endurance requires fuel. Bamboo in winter is less nutritious than bamboo in summer. The plants have withdrawn their energy into roots and rhizomes, preparing for dormancy. What remains above ground is fibrous, tough, low in protein. Pandas must eat even more to extract the same nutrition. 16 hours becomes 18. 18 becomes 20. They eat. They sleep briefly. They eat again. Maylin's routine becomes punishing. She leaves the den at dawn. She feeds until mid-morning. She returns to nurse the cub. She leaves again in afternoon. She feeds until dark. She returns to nurse and sleep. Her body continues to lose mass. She is skeletal now, her bones visible beneath loose skin. But the cub is growing steadily. Nearly 1 kilogram now, the size of a small house cat. Its fur is thick and soft. Its coordination is improving daily. It can walk, though clumsily. It can climb over small obstacles in the den. It plays in the way very young animals play, batting at shadows, pouncing on pieces of bark, wrestling with its own paws. Maylin watches these games with what might be satisfaction if pandas experience satisfaction the way humans do. She does not smile, she does not coo, but she watches, and she does not stop the play. The cub is healthy. That is all that matters. Across the valley, Xiao's having her best winter yet. The water bamboo stand continues to provide. She has gained weight, built reserves, established a rhythm that feels almost sustainable. She still thinks about expanding her territory, about claiming more ground, but for now she has enough. She sees Bao occasionally, crossing ridges at a distance. They do not interact. Winter is not a social season. She sees Maylin's tracks once, near their shared boundary. The tracks are deeper than before, heavier. Xiao does not know about the cub. She only knows that Maylin has not crossed into her range in weeks. That suits her fine. Bao, meanwhile, has settled into a pattern of aggressive efficiency. He rotates through 4 major feeding sites, each one carefully managed. He eats a section down to half its density, then moves to the next. By the time he returns to the first site, it has recovered enough to feed again. This is mastery. This is what 15 years of experience looks like. He has also learned to conserve energy. No unnecessary climbing, no long patrols, no scent marking unless absolutely required. Every calorie is accounted for. Every movement has purpose. He will survive this winter easily. He has survived worse. The snow continues to fall intermittently. Some days bring clear skies and brutal cold. Other days bring clouds and fresh accumulation. The pandas adapt to each variation. On clear days, they feed longer, taking advantage of easier access to bamboo. On snowy days, they dig and scrape and work harder for the same amount of food. They do not complain. They do not pause to consider alternatives. They simply do what must be done. By midwinter, the forest is locked in ice. The stream is mostly frozen. The bamboo is buried under 1/2 meter of snow in some areas. Maylin digs a trench to her favorite feeding site. A literal trench carved through snow by repeated trips. It makes travel easier, more efficient. The cub, now 8 weeks old, weighs nearly 2 kilograms. It is active, curious, and increasingly mobile. One afternoon, while Maylin is out feeding, the cub approaches the den entrance. Light spills in from outside, bright and cold. The cub has never left the den. It has never seen the outside world except as a bright rectangle of unknown. It steps toward the light. One small paw on the threshold, then it stops. The air from outside is shockingly cold. The cub pulls back, confused. It retreats to the warm corner and waits for its mother. Maylin returns minutes later, snow dusted across her back. She checks the cub immediately, sniffing it, confirming it is safe. The cub bleats, hungry. She settles down to nurse. This routine will continue for weeks yet. The cub is too young to venture outside, too small to survive the cold without her constant warmth. But it is growing. Every day it is stronger, larger, more capable. In a few more weeks, it will take its first steps into the snow. It will see the forest. It will begin learning what it means to be a panda. But not yet. For now, it is still a den creature. A small, squeaking, constantly hungry den creature. And Maylin is still its entire world. The winter solstice passes without acknowledgement. The days begin to lengthen, though the difference is barely perceptible. The cold does not ease. The snow does not melt. But somewhere deep in the bamboo's roots, energy begins to stir. Spring is still months away, but the cycle is turning. Maylin feels nothing except hunger and exhaustion. She eats, she nurses, she sleeps when her body forces her to stop. The cub feels nothing except curiosity and appetite. It explores, it plays, it nurses until its belly is round. Neither thinks about the future, neither remembers the past with any clarity. They exist in the present, moment to moment, the way all wild things exist. And in the frozen mountains, under skies heavy with stars, they survive. One day at a time, one meal at a time, one small victory at a time. This is winter, cold, harsh, relentless, but not infinite. Everything that begins must end. Every season that arrives must eventually leave. Winter will break, the snow will melt, the bamboo will wake, and the pandas, patient as they have always been, will still be here, chewing, surviving, enduring, because that is what they do. That is what they have always done. And if luck holds, if the bamboo produces, if the weather cooperates and predators stay distant and sickness does not come, they will do it for another year, and another after that, for as long as the mountains stand, for as long as the bamboo grows. This is the promise. This is the hope, carried forward on black and white shoulders through seasons that turn like wheels, through cycles older than memory. The pandas endure. The forest endures. The story continues, one stalk of bamboo at a time. Late winter in the mountains is a test of patience. The cold persists. The snow, packed and refrozen, becomes a hard crust that supports a panda's weight in some places and breaks through in others. Walking becomes unpredictable. The bamboo is at its least nutritious. Pandas must work harder than ever to find enough calories to survive each day. Maylin's condition has stabilized. She is thin, desperately so, but she has stopped losing weight. Her body has found an equilibrium between intake and output. The cub, now 10 weeks old, is the size of a small dog. 3 kilograms of fur and curiosity. It has begun teething. Tiny white points emerge from its gums. The cub chews everything it can reach. Bark, sticks, its mother's paw when she is not paying attention. Maylin tolerates this with remarkable patience. She has raised cubs before. She knows this phase passes. The cub also begins to vocalize more deliberately. Different sounds for different needs. A bleat for hunger, a squeak for discomfort, a chirp that might be excitement or might be nothing at all. Maylin responds to the bleat. She ignores most of the rest. One morning, when the sky is clear and the sun actually provides warmth, the cub approaches the den entrance again. It has tried before and retreated. This time, it does not retreat. It steps over the threshold into blinding white light. The world outside is enormous, bigger than the cub can process. Trees rise like pillars into a sky so blue it looks painted. Snow stretches in all directions. The air is cold but still. The cub takes one step, then another. Its paws sink into snow. The sensation is new, strange, not entirely pleasant, but it continues. Mei Lin, who has been watching from inside, follows. She does not stop the cub. It is time. The cub explores the immediate area around the den. 5 meters in one direction, 3 in another. It finds a small drift and attempts to climb it. The drift collapses. The cub tumbles backward, squeaking indignantly. Mei Lin watches. She does not intervene. The cub rights itself, shakes off snow, and tries again. This time it makes it to the top of the drift. It stands there, surveying its domain with the gravity of someone who has just conquered a mountain. Then it slides down the other side in an uncontrolled tumble and ends up on its back, legs waving. Mei Lin walks over and nudges it upright with her nose. The cub bleeds, uncertain whether this experience was good or bad. Mei Lin returns to the den entrance. The cub follows. They go inside together. This pattern repeats daily. Short excursions outside, exploration under supervision, return to the den for nursing and warmth. The cub's world expands in careful increments. By 12 weeks, it can walk steadily on level ground. It has learned to navigate snow, testing each step before committing weight. It has also discovered bamboo, not as food. It has no teeth for that yet, but as an object of fascination. It chews on tender shoots, testing textures. It bats at stalks, making them sway. It tries to climb them like trees, which does not work. Mei Lin eats nearby, keeping the cub in sight at all times. The forest is still locked in winter, but signs of change are appearing. The angle of the sun shifts slightly each day. The snow begins to settle, compressing under its own weight. The bamboo, sensing longer days, begins preparing for spring growth. Predators remain scarce. The cold keeps most animals denned or far down the mountain. A leopard passes through once, its tracks visible in fresh snow. Mei Lin finds the tracks and stiffens. She sniffs the air, confirming the leopard is gone. Then she moves the cub to the opposite side of her territory and feeds there for several days. Leopards are one of the few animals that pose a threat to young pandas. They are fast, strong, equipped with claws and teeth that can kill. An adult panda can defend itself. The massive jaws, the thick skull, the sheer bulk make pandas difficult prey. Leopards prefer easier targets, but a cub is vulnerable, small, slow, defenseless. Mei Lin will not take chances. She stays vigilant, alert to every sound, every scent. The leopard does not return. By 13 weeks, the cub is confident enough to wander a few meters from its mother. Not far, just enough to investigate interesting smells or chase wind-blown leaves. Mei Lin allows this, but her attention never wavers. She tracks the cub constantly, ready to intervene. One afternoon, the cub discovers a beetle crawling across a rock. It paws at the beetle. The beetle does not appreciate this and scuttles away. The cub follows, focused entirely on the chase. It does not notice it has wandered 15 meters from Mei Lin. A bark from above shatters the moment. Sharp, loud, alarming. The cub freezes, confused. Mei Lin charges toward it, huffing aggressively. The cub bleats in terror and scrambles back to her. Mei Lin scans the trees. A marten, small and sleek, watches from a branch 10 meters up. It is far too small to threaten an adult panda, but cubs are different. Mei Lin huffs again, louder. The marten vanishes into the canopy. She herds the cub back to the den, nudging it firmly with her shoulder. The cub, shaken, does not resist. That night, they stay inside. The cub nurses longer than usual, seeking comfort. Mei Lin provides it, curled protectively around her offspring. The lesson is learned. The world is not safe. Wandering is dangerous. Mother means safety. The cub will wander again, but not as far. Late winter gives way to early spring in gradual stages. The snow does not melt so much as erode. Patches of bare ground appear on south-facing slopes. Streams begin to run stronger as hidden ice releases. The bamboo responds immediately. New shoots push up through the softening soil. The pandas, who have been eating old, tough stalks for months, shift their diet gratefully. Shoots are tender, nutritious, easy to digest. They are also highly sought after. Mei Lin finds competition for the first time in months. Other pandas, emerging from winter isolation, are also seeking shoots. She encounters Xiao one morning near a shared boundary. Both pandas freeze. Both assess. Xiao is in better condition than Mei Lin. She spent winter eating well, building strength. Mei Lin spent winter raising a cub and barely surviving. But Mei Lin has experience. She has defended territory before. She has fought and won. She does not attack. She simply stands her ground, staring. Xiao considers. Then she backs away, choosing discretion. Mei Lin marks a tree aggressively, reinforcing the boundary. Then she returns to the shoot patch and eats until her stomach can hold no more. The cub, now 14 weeks old, stays close. It has tried shoots but cannot yet process them. It still relies entirely on milk, but it watches its mother eat. It sniffs the bamboo. It gnaws experimentally on leaves. Instinct is preparing it for the transition ahead. The forest comes alive around them. Birds return from southern migrations, their songs filling the canopy. Insects emerge from dormancy, buzzing and crawling. The first flowers bloom, tiny and bright against brown earth. The takins descend from their winter refuges on the highest peaks. The golden monkeys become active, chattering through the trees. Life returns. Bao emerges from winter in excellent condition. He lost some weight, but not much. His strategy of careful resource management paid off. He begins patrolling again, checking boundaries, marking trees. He encounters other males doing the same. The hierarchy from last year holds. The younger males defer. The older males maintain their distance. No one wants to fight yet. Spring mating season is still weeks away, but the preparations are beginning. Testosterone levels are rising, behaviors are shifting. Soon the forest will be full of males searching for receptive females. Soon the battles will resume, but not yet. For now, everyone is simply glad to have survived winter. Mei Lin's cub is changing rapidly. At 16 weeks, it weighs 5 kilograms. Its coordination has improved dramatically. It can run, though not quickly. It can climb small trees, though not high. It plays constantly, chasing its tail, wrestling with sticks, ambushing its mother's legs when she walks past. Mei Lin tolerates this with the long, suffering patience of mothers everywhere. The cub also begins to explore further from the den. It follows Mei Lin on her feeding trips, staying close but moving independently. It watches her eat and mimics the motions, reaching for stalks, pulling them close, chewing with gums that do not yet have the teeth to process bamboo. It is learning. One afternoon, the cub succeeds in eating a tiny amount of bamboo leaf. It chews, swallows, and immediately looks confused. The texture is strange. The taste is bland. This is not milk, but it does not spit it out. It chews another leaf. Maylin, watching, continues her own meal. This is the beginning of weaning. The cub will nurse for many more months, but it is starting to supplement with solid food. The transition has begun. Spring arrives fully in a single week. The temperature jumps. The last snow melts. The bamboo explodes into growth. Shoots appear by the thousands, pushing up through soil warmed by sun. The forest floor becomes a maze of green spikes. The pandas feast. Maylin eats until she cannot move. She lies on her side in a shoot patch, belly distended, looking like someone who made poor decisions at a buffet. The cub nurses, plays in the shoots, then curls against her and sleeps. This is abundance. This is the reward for surviving winter. For 2 weeks, life is easy. Maylin begins to regain weight. Her ribs disappear beneath healthy tissue. Her coat regains its gloss. The cub grows visibly larger each day. 6 kilograms. 7. It is no longer a tiny, helpless thing. It is becoming a young panda, still dependent on its mother, still learning the basics of survival, but no longer fragile, no longer desperately vulnerable. The forest hums with activity. Everywhere, animals are mating, nesting, raising young. The pandas, solitary by nature, participate in their own way. Bao begins his search for receptive females. He crosses into Maylin's territory, following her scent. But Maylin's scent has changed. She is not fertile. Nursing suppresses ovulation. She will not mate again until the cub is older, more independent. Bao detects this and moves on, uninterested. He finds Xiao instead. Xiao is receptive this year. She is stronger, more confident, established in her territory. She has caught the attention of multiple males. Bao is the largest. He drives off 2 younger competitors with huffing displays and 1 brief, clumsy fight. Then he courts Xiao the way pandas court, by sitting near her, waiting, occasionally huffing softly. Xiao eats bamboo and ignores him for 12 hours. Then, when her body signals readiness, she allows him to approach. They mate twice over 2 days. Then Xiao's fertile window closes. She loses interest immediately. Bao wanders off to mark more trees and find more bamboo. Xiao returns to eating as if nothing happened. Somewhere inside her, cells divide. An embryo forms. Next autumn, if conditions are right, she will have her first cub. But that is months away. For now, she eats and grows strong. Maylin, watching the cub wrestle with a bamboo stalk 3 times its size, has no thoughts about Xiao or Bao or any other panda. Her world is this: the cub, the bamboo, the territory she has defended for 7 years. The cub finally conquers the bamboo stalk. It drags the prize to a sunny spot and chews triumphantly on leaves it still cannot properly digest. Maylin watches, chewing her own bamboo, patient as stone. This is spring. This is life. The cycle continues. Birth, growth, survival, repetition. The pandas move through it like water through a stream, following the path of least resistance, adapting to what cannot be changed, enduring what cannot be avoided. The mountains hold them. The bamboo feeds them. The seasons turn. And in a forest in Sichuan, black and white shapes eat and sleep and raise their young, as they have always done, as they will continue to do, for as long as the world allows. The spring mating season passes quickly. 2 weeks of heightened activity, males crossing territories, females accepting or rejecting suitors, brief unions that produce the next generation. Then it ends. The males disperse. The females return to solitary feeding. Everyone goes back to eating bamboo as if nothing happened. Maylin's cub, now 18 weeks old, is eaten bamboo successfully. Not large amounts, its digestive system is still developing, but it can strip leaves from stalks, chew them into pulp, swallow, and extract some nutrition. It nurses less frequently, once every few hours instead of constantly. This gives Mei Lin more freedom. She can feed longer without returning to the cub. She can patrol her territory more thoroughly. The cub follows her everywhere now, a small black and white shadow, 10 meters behind, mimicking everything she does. When Mei Lin sits to eat, the cub sits nearby and eats. When Mei Lin drinks from the stream, the cub drinks. When Mei Lin climbs a tree to rest, the cub attempts to follow. It is not yet skilled at climbing. It makes it 3 meters up before panic sets in. It clings to the trunk, crying. Mei Lin descends, nudges it gently. The cub scrambles down, relieved. It will try again tomorrow, and the day after. Eventually, it will succeed. This is how cubs learn, through repetition, through failure, through trying again. The forest in late spring is a riot of green. Every plant is growing. Every tree is leafed out. The understory is so thick in places that visibility drops to a few meters. New dangers appear. A wild boar with piglets crosses Mei Lin's path one afternoon. The sow is aggressive, protective. She snorts and stamps. Mei Lin, with the cub pressed against her side, backs away slowly. The sow watches them go, then returns to rooting in the soil. Another day, the cub encounters a snake, a small one, non-venomous, sunning itself on a rock. The cub, curious, reaches out to touch it. The snake hisses and strikes, missing by centimeters. The cub leaps backward, squeaking alarm. Mei Lin, who has been watching from 3 meters away, huffs once. The cub retreats to her side and stays there for an hour. Lesson learned. Not everything in the forest is safe to investigate. By 20 weeks, the cub weighs 9 kilograms. It is eating solid bamboo for 30% of its diet. Still nursing, but less dependent. Its play becomes more sophisticated. It wrestles with saplings, testing its strength. It ambushes its mother from behind boulders. It climbs trees and jumps from branch to branch, building coordination. Mei Lin watches these activities with apparent disinterest, but she is always near, always ready to intervene if danger appears. The bond between mother and cub is still absolute. The cub will stay with Mei Lin for another year, possibly longer. It will learn her territory, her feeding sites, her strategies for survival. Then, when it is strong enough, experienced enough, it will leave. It will find its own territory, its own bamboo, its own path, but not yet. Summer approaches again. The air grows warm and heavy. The cicadas begin their drone. The cycle is turning. Across the valley, Xiao's embryo has implanted. She does not know she is pregnant. She simply eats, growing stronger, building reserves. In late summer, she will give birth to her first cub. She will face all the challenges Mei Lin faced: exhaustion, hunger, constant vigilance. She will either succeed or fail. There is no middle ground in panda motherhood. But for now, she eats bamboo and ignores the future. Bao continues his endless patrol, marking, eating, defending his range from younger males who grow bolder each year. He is 9 years old now, in his prime. But the younger males are rising. In a few years, they will challenge him seriously. For now, he holds. The forest contains perhaps 20 adult pandas in this section of mountain, males and females scattered across the slopes, each in their own territory. They see each other rarely. They interact even less. yet they are connected by bamboo, by scent trails, by the shared rhythms of seasons. They are not a community, but they are not entirely alone. Maylin's cub discovers other animals. A red panda in a tree, small and rust-colored. A porcupine waddling along a trail, quills raised. A barking deer that bolts when it sees them. Each encounter teaches something. Not all animals run from pandas. Not all animals are worth chasing. Some should be avoided entirely. The cub is building a map of the world. Who lives here? What is dangerous? What can be ignored? It absorbs information constantly, filing it away in whatever passes for memory in a panda's brain. One evening, Maylin and the cub rest on the same flat boulder Maylin used last summer. The stone is warm from afternoon sun. They lie side by side, the cub sprawled against its mother's flank. The sun sets behind the western ridge, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The forest quiets. Daytime birds cease their calls. Night birds have not yet begun. In this brief silence, the world feels peaceful. Maylin chews a bamboo stalk slowly. The cub rests, eyes half closed. This moment will not last. In minutes, the cub will wake and demand to nurse. In an hour, darkness will bring cold. Tomorrow will bring hunger again, and effort, and the constant work of survival. But for now, this moment is enough. A mother and cub on a warm stone, black and white against gray granite, alive in the fading light. The mountains have seen this scene played out a million times. Different pandas, same pattern, mothers raising cubs, cubs growing strong, generations following generations. The bamboo grows, the pandas eat, the seasons turn. It is simple, it is sufficient. It is the way things have always been, in this forest, on these slopes. And if the mountains have their way, it is how things will continue. Year after year, season after season, the pandas endure, the forest endures, the story continues, written in bamboo and snow, in birth and survival, in the patient, steady rhythm of lives lived one day at a time. This is spring turning into summer. This is a cub growing into independence. This is a mother teaching without words, guiding without leading, ensuring the next generation knows what it needs to know. This is the quiet work of continuation. And in the mountains of Sichuan, it goes on, unnoticed by most of the world, unconcerned with anything beyond bamboo and survival, exactly as it should be. The sun drops below the horizon. Stars appear overhead, sharp and clear. Maylin stands, shakes herself. The cub follows. They walk to the den together through gathering darkness. Tomorrow will bring more bamboo, more lessons, more small victories and small challenges. But tonight they sleep, safe in the hollow tree, warm in each other's presence. The mountains stand watch. The bamboo grows, the cycle continues, and two pandas, mother and cub, rest in the knowledge that they have survived another day. That is enough. That has always been enough. That will always be enough. As long as the bamboo grows and the mountains stand, the pandas will endure. One stalk at a time, one day at a time, one generation teaching the next. This is the promise. This is the way. And in the quiet darkness of a hollow tree, it continues, silent, steady, eternal. Summer settles over the mountains like a familiar guest. The heat returns, though not as intense as last year. The rains come in predictable patterns. The bamboo grows thick and reliable. Maylin's cub is 6 months old now. It weighs 14 kilograms. Nearly as tall as its mother when sitting, though still much lighter. It eats bamboo as its primary food source, still nurses occasionally, more for comfort than nutrition. The bond between mother and cub is evolving. Less dependency, more companionship. They feed near each other, but not always together. The cub ventures 50 meters away sometimes, exploring on its own. Maylin allows this. She checks on it periodically, calling with soft vocalizations. The cub responds. This is the beginning of separation. Not yet, but approaching. The cub's personality has emerged. It is bold, curious, sometimes reckless. It climbs trees that are too tall and gets stuck. It investigates every hole and crevice, looking for something interesting. It plays with water, splashing in streams, apparently delighted by the spray. Maylin does not share this enthusiasm for play. She is practical, focused on eating and surviving, but she tolerates the cub's antics with patience. One afternoon, the cub discovers a fallen log covered in fungi. It paws at the mushrooms, knocking them loose. One mushroom bounces and rolls. The cub chases it. The mushroom rolls into a thicket. The cub follows. On the other side of the thicket stands another panda. It is a young female, roughly 2 years old. Not Xiao, someone else. The cub freezes. It has never seen another panda except its mother. The young female stares back, equally surprised. For a long moment, neither moves. Then Maylin crashes through the thicket, huffing aggressively. She positions herself between her cub and the stranger. The young female backs away immediately, reading the situation correctly. This is not her territory. This is not her fight. She turns and disappears into the bamboo. Maylin watches until she is certain the stranger is gone. Then she turns to her cub and huffs once, sharply. The cub has no idea what it did wrong, but it knows that huff. It presses against its mother's side, contrite. They return to familiar ground. This encounter is significant. The cub has learned that other pandas exist, that not all pandas are safe, that territory matters. It is one more lesson in a curriculum that never ends. By midsummer, the cub is climbing with confidence. It ascends tall trees, navigating branches with ease. It has learned to judge weight distribution, to test branches before trusting them. It spends hours in the canopy sometimes, resting on wide limbs, watching the world from above. Maylin does not follow. She rests at the base of the tree, chewing bamboo, occasionally glancing up to confirm the cub is still there. The cub is safe in trees, higher than most predators can reach, comfortable in a way that ground-dwelling animals are not. This is important. Trees are refuge. Trees are safety. One evening, a storm rolls through. Thunder echoes off the mountains. Lightning flashes, illuminating the forest in stark white bursts. Rain falls in sheets, turning trails to rivers. Maylin and the cub shelter beneath an overhang, pressed together. The cub is nervous. Thunder is loud, unpredictable, alarming. Maylin is unconcerned. She has weathered hundreds of storms. The cub takes its cue from her. If mother is calm, then things must be acceptable. The storm passes in an hour. The forest drips and steams. The air smells clean, sharp, electric. They emerge and shake themselves. Water flies in all directions. Then they return to eating, because storms or no storms, bamboo must be consumed. Summer deepens. The days grow long. The light lingers past 8 in the evening. The cub's coat is thick now, lustrous. Its movements are coordinated, efficient. It is no longer a clumsy infant. It is becoming a young panda, still learning, still dependent in some ways, but capable. Maylin watches this transformation with the same neutral expression she brings to everything. She does not celebrate milestones. She simply responds to what is. The cub is stronger. Therefore, she can leave it alone longer. Therefore, she can feed more efficiently. Therefore, her own condition improves. This is logic, not emotion. Though the two are not always separate. Late summer brings the first hints of autumn. Cooler mornings, leaves beginning to yellow at the edges, the bamboo starting its seasonal decline. Maylin's body responds. She eats more, storing fat, preparing for winter. But this year is different. She is not pregnant. She will not give birth in autumn. The cub at her side is enough responsibility. Across the valley, Xiao prepares for a very different autumn. Her pregnancy has progressed. The embryo has grown. In a few weeks, she will give birth to her first cub. She will face all the challenges that entails. She has never done this before. She does not know what to expect. But her body knows. Instinct will guide her. For now, she eats and grows round. Bao continues his routines, patrolling, marking, eating. He has fought 3 times this summer, once with a younger male who challenged him seriously. Bao won, but not easily. The younger male retreated but did not leave the area. He is waiting, watching, learning. In a year or 2, he will challenge again, and he might win. This is the way of things. Dominance is temporary. Every king is eventually replaced. Autumn arrives in full. The bamboo yellows. The shoots stop appearing. The forest prepares for dormancy. Maylin's cub is 9 months old. It weighs 22 kilograms, half its mother's weight. It is nearly independent. It eats only bamboo now. No more nursing. It can survive on its own if necessary. But it stays with Maylin, following her, learning from her, absorbing the knowledge that cannot be taught, with words, where the best bamboo grows, how to recognize danger, when to fight and when to retreat. These lessons will determine whether the cub survives its first year alone. One afternoon, they encounter Bao. He is marking a tree near the boundary of Maylin's territory. Maylin huffs. Bao ignores her. The cub, curious, approaches. Bao looks at it. The cub looks back. For a moment, something passes between them. Not recognition. Pandas do not recognize their offspring, but acknowledgement. Another panda. Young, not a threat. Bao finishes marking and walks away. The cub watches him go, confused. Maylin calls it back to her side. They continue feeding. The encounter means nothing to Maylin. She does not remember mating with Bao. She does not connect him to the cub. To her, he is simply another panda, a male, to be tolerated when necessary, ignored when possible. Autumn progresses, the temperatures drop. The first frost appears on the highest ridges. Maylin and the cub begin spending time in the old den. Not constantly, but regularly. The den represents safety, warmth, shelter. The cub knows this place, was born here, spent its first months here. It curls in the familiar corner and sleeps deeply. Maylin rests near the entrance, keeping watch. The forest around them prepares for winter. Animals fatten, birds migrate. The bamboo withdraws its energy underground. The cycle continues. By late autumn, the cub is nearly 1 year old. It weighs 28 kilograms. It is strong, healthy, capable. It still follows Maylin everywhere, but the following has changed. Less desperate, more habitual, they are companions now, not infant and mother. One morning, Maylin wakes to find snow falling. The first snow of the season, light, delicate, beautiful. She stretches and walks outside. The cub follows. They stand together, watching snow accumulate on bamboo. The cub catches snowflakes on its tongue, a game it invented last winter. Mei Lin begins eating, systematic as always. The cub joins her. They feed side by side as snow falls around them. Black and white shapes in a white world. This is their life. Simple, repetitive, sufficient. The year has turned full circle. Spring to summer to autumn to winter again. Mei Lin has survived. The cub has grown. Both will face the winter ahead, together for now. Eventually, the cub will leave. It will find its own territory, its own bamboo, its own path through the seasons. Mei Lin will return to solitude. She will mate again, perhaps. Raise another cub, perhaps. Or perhaps not. The future is uncertain. It has always been uncertain. But the present is clear. Snow is falling. Bamboo is available. They are alive. That is enough. In the mountains of Sichuan, the pandas continue. They have survived another year. Another cycle. They will survive more. The bamboo will grow. The seasons will turn. The pandas will endure. This is their promise. This is their strength. They do not conquer the mountains. They do not dominate the forest. They simply exist within it. Patient, persistent, present. They have been here for millions of years. They will be here for millions more if the world allows. Because pandas do one thing extraordinarily well. They endure. Through ice ages and climate shifts, through changing forests and evolving threats, through everything the world has thrown at them. They eat bamboo. They raise their young. They survive. It is not dramatic. It is not glorious. But it works. And in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, there is something deeply reassuring about creatures who simply continue, who face each day with the same patient determination, who find sufficiency in simple things, who ask for nothing except bamboo and space and time. The snow continues falling. Mei Lin and her cub eat through it unbothered. Tomorrow they will eat again, and the day after that, and the day after that. This is their life. This is their way. And in these mountains, under these skies, surrounded by bamboo that has fed their kind since before humans learned to farm, they are home, safe, sufficient, surviving, one stalk at a time, one season at a time, one generation passing knowledge to the next. The pandas endure, the mountains stand witness, and the story continues. Not because it is remarkable, but because it is ordinary. The quiet, persistent, unremarkable continuation of life. Day after day, year after year. The pandas eating bamboo in the mountains of Sichuan. Exactly as they have always done. Exactly as they will continue to do. For as long as the bamboo grows. For as long as the mountains stand. This is their promise. This is our hope. That somewhere in the world, in the high forests, where mist gathers and streams run cold, black and white shapes will continue their ancient routines, unbothered by the passage of time, unimpressed by the complexity of the modern world, simply being, simply surviving, simply continuing, the way they always have, the way they always will, the pandas of Sichuan, patient as stones, enduring as mountains, eternal as the bamboo they eat. This is their story, and it is far from over. The snow continues throughout the day. By evening, the forest is transformed. White covers everything. Bamboo bends under the weight. Trees wear thick caps of snow. The world is quiet in the way only snow can make it quiet. Sound absorbed, movement slowed, everything muffled. Mei Lin and the cub return to the den as darkness falls. They squeeze inside, shaking snow from their fur. The cub has grown so much that the den feels smaller. There is barely room for both of them. Next year the cub will be too large. It will need its own shelter, its own territory. But not yet. They settle together, the cub pressed against Maylin's side. Outside, wind picks up. Snow blows sideways. The temperature drops further. Inside, they are warm, safe. The cub falls asleep, quickly, breathing steady and deep. Maylin stays awake longer, not thinking. Pandas do not reminisce, but alert, listening to the forest, monitoring the night. Eventually, she sleeps too. The storm continues through the night. By morning, 1/2 meter of snow has fallen. Maylin wakes to a white world. She emerges from the den, blinking against the brightness. The cub follows, immediately sinking to its chest in snow. It struggles, surprised. This is more snow than it has ever seen. Maylin begins forging a path, breaking trail with her bulk. The cub follows in her wake, where the going is easier. They reach the nearest bamboo stand. Maylin digs through snow to expose the stalks. The cub helps, pawing at the snow, learning the technique. Together, they clear a feeding area. Then they eat, snow still falling around them. This is winter. This is survival. Nothing about it is easy. Nothing about it is comfortable. But it is manageable. They have food. They have shelter. They have each other for now. That is sufficient. Days pass in similar fashion. Snow, cold, feeding, resting. The cub continues to grow, though more slowly now. Winter slows everything. Its coat has thickened for the season. Dense undercoat, water-resistant outer layer, perfect insulation. It has also learned to conserve energy. Less play, more rest, efficient movement. These are survival strategies it will use for the rest of its life. Across the valley, Xiao has given birth, a tiny cub, pink and helpless, her first. She is doing everything right. Nursing constantly, keeping the cub warm, barely eating, but she is exhausted, frightened by the responsibility, overwhelmed by the constant demands. This is normal. First-time mothers struggle, but Xiao is resourceful. She survived her difficult first year. She will survive this too. Bao, somewhere on the mountain, knows nothing of Xiao's cub. He knows nothing of Maylin's growing offspring. He eats bamboo and marks territory and waits for spring. The younger male who challenged him watches from a distance, planning, growing stronger, biding his time. The forest holds all these stories, all these lives, all these struggles, each panda alone in their territory, each unaware of the others except when scent or sound forces awareness, yet connected. By the bamboo, by the mountains, by the shared challenge of surviving winter. Midwinter arrives. The coldest, darkest time. The days are short, the sun weak, the bamboo at its least nutritious. This is when pandas are tested most severely. Maylin's weight drops, but not dangerously. She has reserves built from summer and autumn. She knows how to pace herself. The cub, younger and less experienced, struggles more. It is still learning which bamboo to prioritize, which feeding sites are worth the energy to reach. Maylin guides it, leading to the best patches, showing through example what experienced pandas know instinctively. The cub watches, learns, adapts. By late winter, it is feeding as efficiently as any adult. One afternoon, they encounter a frozen waterfall. Water turned to ice mid-cascade, a sculpture of frozen motion. The cub approaches, fascinated. It touches the ice with one paw. Cold, hard, slippery. It tries to climb it. Predictably, it slides back down. It tries again. Same result. Maylin watches this entertainment with her usual expression of patient tolerance. The cub finally gives up and returns to eating bamboo, which was the correct decision all along. The days begin to lengthen, slowly, almost imperceptibly, but the pandas notice. Their bodies respond to changing light. Hormones shift. Behaviors begin to adjust. Spring is still weeks away, but it is approaching. Malin's cub is now 1 year old. It weighs 32 kilograms, fully capable of surviving independently, but it shows no inclination to leave. It still follows Maylin, still feeds near her, still returns to the den each night. This will continue for several more months, maybe longer. Some cubs leave at 18 months, others stay for 2 years. It depends on the cub, on the mother, on whether food is abundant enough to support both in the same territory. Maylin does not push the cub away, not yet, but the distance between them is growing. They feed separately more often, sleep in different locations sometimes. The bond is loosening, gradually, naturally. By early spring, the snow begins to melt. The first bare patches appear on south-facing slopes. Streams begin to run stronger. The bamboo responds immediately, new growth pushing up through cold soil. The pandas shift their feeding, seeking the fresh shoots. Maylin and the cub both gain weight quickly. The abundance of spring is welcome after winter's scarcity. The cub is eating enormous amounts now, growing rapidly in its 2nd year. It has also become more independent, wandering further from Maylin, spending hours alone. One morning, it does not return from a solo feeding trip. Maylin waits, calls softly, waits more. The cub does not respond. She goes looking, following its scent trail through the bamboo. She finds it 200 meters away, eating peacefully. The cub looks up when she approaches, acknowledges her with a soft huff, returns to eating. Maylin stands watching, then she turns and walks back to her own feeding site. The cub does not follow. This is progress. This is independence. The separation has begun. Over the following weeks, the pattern continues. More time apart, less time together. They still share the same general territory. They still encounter each other regularly, but they are no longer a unit. They are two individual pandas who happen to overlap. By late spring, they rarely feed together. The cub has found its own favorite sites, its own routines, its own preferences. It is becoming its own panda. One morning, Maylin's body signals change, hormones shifting, ovulation approaching. She begins scent marking more frequently, broadcasting availability. Males respond. Bao arrives first, drawn by her scent. The cub watches from a distance as Bao courts its mother. It does not understand what is happening. It only knows that its mother is occupied, that another panda is close. The cub stays away. Maylin and Bao mate over 2 days. Then Bao departs. Maylin returns to her routines. The cub approaches cautiously, uncertain. Maylin huffs once, not aggressive, just acknowledgement. The cub settles nearby. They eat in parallel, 20 meters apart. This is the new normal. By midsummer, they have drifted even further apart. They occupy the same general area, but they rarely interact. The cub is 15 months old now, 40 kilograms, nearly adult size. It is time for it to find its own territory, but territories do not simply appear. They must be claimed, defended. The cub begins exploring the edges of Maylin's range, testing boundaries, looking for gaps. It finds an area to the east where scent marks are old, faded. The territory appears empty. The cub begins spending time there, eating the bamboo, marking trees tentatively. No one challenges it. Over weeks, the cub shifts its center of activity, moving from Maylin's core territory to this new area. It is still young, still learning, but it is establishing itself. Maylin notices the change. She encounters the cub less frequently now. When they do meet, it is as neighbors, respectful, distant. The bond of mother and cub has transformed into the relationship of neighboring adults, polite coexistence, mutual avoidance. This is normal. This is healthy. The cub is independent now. Mei Lin is alone again. Inside her, an embryo has implanted. She is pregnant again, the cycle continuing. In late summer, she will give birth. She will raise another cub. She will repeat the entire process. This is her life. This is what she does. The cub, now nearly alone, faces its first autumn as an independent panda. It has challenges ahead. Winter to survive, territory to defend, skills to master. But it is ready. Mei Lin taught it everything she could, showed it where the bamboo grows, demonstrated how to survive storms, protected it when it was vulnerable. Now it is on its own. The cub stands on a ridge at sunset, looking out over the valley. Bamboo stretches in all directions. The forest is vast, the mountains endless. It is alone, but it is a panda, and pandas are built for solitude. It turns and walks downslope toward a bamboo stand it has been cultivating. It sits, it eats. This is its life now. Simple, solitary, sufficient. The sun sets, stars appear, the forest settles into night. And in the mountains of Sichuan, one more panda joins the eternal cycle, eating bamboo, surviving seasons, enduring, the way pandas have always endured, the way they will continue to endure, one day at a time, one stalk at a time, one generation teaching the next. The mountains hold them, the bamboo feeds them, the seasons turn, and the pandas, patient and persistent, continue. Black and white shapes against green mountains, eating, surviving, being, exactly as they should, exactly as they always have, exactly as they always will. This is the promise of the pandas, not glory, not conquest, not dominance, simply continuation. And in a world that often feels fragile and uncertain, there is profound hope in creatures who simply continue, who face each day with the same steady determination, who find beauty in the ordinary, who survive through patience rather than force. The pandas teach us this, not with words, but with their existence, with their quiet persistence in the face of hardship, with their ability to find sufficiency in simple things, with their endurance through millions of years of change. They have survived ice ages. They will survive what comes next, because they do not demand much. Just bamboo, just space, just time. And as long as the mountains stand and the bamboo grows, they will have what they need. The story of the giant panda is not over. It continues in forests we may never see, in moments we will never witness. In the daily, ordinary miracle of survival, cubs will be born. They will grow. They will leave their mothers. They will find their own territories. They will mate. They will raise their own cubs. The cycle will turn, and the pandas will endure, as they have always endured. Patient, persistent, present, in the mountains of Sichuan, eating bamboo, surviving, being. This is their way. This is their story. And it continues, one black and white shape at a time, forever.